My beloved child, today, I do not only want you to look into the garden of your own heart, but I want to lift your eyes to see the broader field, where my movements do not stop within a single personal life, but spread among peoples, nations, and generations. What I do in the secret place of a heart can become a silent flame that illuminates an entire community. What I heal in you can become a testimony that sustains others on the day they tremble. Therefore, do not think that what I am doing with you is small. A seed in my hand can become a great tree. A drop of oil in a jar can feed a whole household through a season of famine. A faithful light in the night can guide many lost souls. I spoke through Isaiah, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of God rises upon you," in Isaiah 60:1. That word is not merely a comfort for you alone, but a call for you to understand that the light you have been given is not meant to be hidden, but to shine forth in an age that needs hope. You will see foundations around you that once seemed enduring begin to be tested. The things humanity once relied upon, the systems once deemed secure, the voices once considered infallible, will all eventually be brought into the light of truth. I do not shake the world to make you terrified, but for you to recognize that only what belongs to the unshakable kingdom will remain. Hebrews 12:27 reminds you that the removing of what can be shaken is so that what cannot be shaken may remain. My child, when everything outside fluctuates, I do not want your heart to be swept away like a leaf in the wind. I want you to stand firm in me, so that when others ask why you still have peace, you can gently point them to the true source of peace. There will be seasons when nations must reconsider the paths they have taken. Some places will realize that ambition cannot build life. Some will see that power is not enough to heal the wounds of the human heart. And some will understand that wealth without righteousness only makes the house larger while the heart grows emptier. Alliances may shift. Voices may contradict each other. Human plans may be erected and then collapse in a short time. But do not let your mind sink into the chaos of overwhelming news. I spoke in Psalm 46:10, "Be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations." The stillness I speak of is not apathy, but the steadiness of one who knows, my throne is not shaken by the storms on earth. You can witness turmoil without being ruled by it. You can hear bad news without letting it steal your faith. I want you to learn from Daniel, who lived in a foreign empire, where the voices of power, culture, and fear all sought to mold the human heart into the shape of the world. Daniel did not stand in his familiar homeland. He was not surrounded by an easy environment, nor did he hold all control in his hands, but he resolved in his heart not to defile himself. And that quiet decision became the foundation for a life that shone amidst a pagan court. As kings changed, as empires succeeded one another, Daniel kept his soul belonging to me. He did not need to shout to prove his faith, but his faithfulness caused even kings to acknowledge the power of the living God. You see, I can place a faithful person in the midst of a complex system and make them a sign of heaven. I can use you in the same way, not necessarily through high positions, but through purity, wisdom, perseverance, and a life that refuses to bow to the darkness. Therefore, when the world speaks much of crisis, let me teach you to speak the language of hope. When many are divided by fear, become a sower of peace. When many chase after the noise to find answers, return to my word to receive light. Philippians 2:15 teaches that the children of God must shine like stars in the universe amidst a warped and crooked generation. A torch does not need to argue with the darkness to be bright. It only needs to burn true to its nature. You as well. Do not waste your strength trying to prove you belong to me through unloving harshness. Prove it through undiminished kindness, through undiluted truth, through calmness amidst confusion, through hands that know how to lift the fallen, and through a tongue that speaks edifying words when many only sow further dismay. I know there are times you feel too small against the grand picture of the world. You may think that what happens in nations, economies, and vast communities is beyond your capacity. But my child, I have never demanded that you carry the whole world on your shoulders. Those shoulders belong to me. Your part is to be faithful where I have placed you, to be watchful over what I have entrusted to you, and to be ready for my light to pass through your life. A sincere prayer can pave the way for peace in a family. A righteous act can halt a tide of compromise in a workplace. A forgiving person can break a generational chain of bitterness. A silent witness can plant a holy question in the hearts of others. Perhaps there truly is a God ruling over all this chaos. And when that question arises, I want you to answer not with pride, but with the gentleness of one who has been shown mercy. Do not wait until you have fame to believe that your life has an impact. Do not wait to stand on a high pedestal to think you can glorify my name. I often begin great things through those who seem ordinary. A young girl named Mary offering the words, "May it be to me, as you have said." A little boy offering 5 loaves and 2 fishes. A shepherd named David, faithful in the pastures. A Samaritan woman who carried many wounds, but after meeting the Lord, became a calling voice for her entire town. You see, I am not limited by your background, by your past, or by the small vision you once held of yourself. I only need a heart willing to open, ears willing to listen, and a life willing to be molded. Matthew 5:16 says, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." That light is not meant to exalt you, but so that others may look through you and recognize me. Thus, my beloved, when the days ahead bring much noise, abide deeply in my presence. When the ground beneath others trembles, plant your feet upon the rock. When systems change, remember, my covenant remains unchanged. When people ask one another where the safe place is, become a humble signpost leading them back to me. Not with judgment, but with mercy, not with shouts of fear, but with the certainty of faith. I am raising up witnesses in families, workplaces, cities, village, small communities, and even distant lands. You are a part of that current. Keep your heart pure. Keep your lamp filled with oil. Keep your lips full of living words. Keep your steps sensitive to the guidance of the Holy Spirit. When the world shakes, you do not need to tremble with it. You must shine, for I am with you. And through those who know how to obey, I will cause hope to rise right in the places where it seemed only darkness remained. My beloved child, after every time your soul is awakened, I often lead you into a quieter stretch of road, not to leave you behind, but so that what you have just received may take deep root in your heart. There are moments when I ignite a very clear light within you, making you realize you have just touched something holy, but after that light, you must learn to walk when the path is no longer as radiant as it was at first. A seed, as soon as it falls into the soil, cannot immediately become a great tree. It must be buried. It must endure the pressure of the earth. It must drink the rain. It must welcome the sun. And it must silently break its shell in a place where no one can see. You are the same. What I sow into you must pass through days of testing so that it is not merely a beautiful emotion, but becomes a living nature within you. James 1:3-4 reminds you that the testing of your faith produces perseverance, and perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. So, do not view the trials after a moment of transition as a sign that I have left you. Often, That is precisely where I make your faith stand taller. I know you wish for all confirmations to come continuously, clearly, and as gently as a ringing bell in the morning. But my child, if I always use great signs to lead you, your heart might love the signs more than you love me. I give signals to draw you near, not for you to stop on the outside and forget to enter into deep communion with the one who called you. When you are still young, I may remind you many times in ways you easily recognize, but as you mature, I teach you to discern my voice even in the silences, in the smallest piece, in the fragile yet faithful light of the Word. Remember that 2 Corinthians 5:7 says, "For we live by faith, not by sight." Faith does not deny what the eyes see, but it does not let what is seen rule the soul. Faith knows that when the signs quiet down, the promise keeper remains unchanged. There are days you will feel as though the sky is closed. Your prayers rise up and dissolve into the void. Your heart asks, but has not yet heard an answer. But I want you to understand that my silence is not always a rejection. Sometimes it is the layer of soil covering the seed, the inner room where your heart is trained for endurance, the desert where the noise is stripped away so you can realize what truly keeps you alive. The Canaanite woman came asking the Lord Jesus to have mercy on her daughter, and at first, he was silent. That silence was not meant to crush her, but to reveal a humble yet mighty faith, a faith that does not give up just because it is not immediately answered. When she persevered, the Lord spoke, "Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted," in Matthew 15:28. You see, there are answers born after a person's heart refuses to depart from me, even without hearing my voice clearly. Therefore, when you step through a phase where signs fade, do not rush to conclude that you have taken the wrong path. Examine your heart in my presence. Ask if you are still keeping what I have spoken, or if you are needing a new feeling to replace an old obedience. There are those who constantly seek wonders but avoid transformation. They want to hear more but do not want to act on what they have already heard. Do not be like that. I want my word to become the foundation beneath your feet, not just a flame that momentarily stirs your emotions. Numbers 23:19 says that God is not a man, that he should lie, nor a son of man, that he should change his mind. If I have spoken, I am faithful. If I have begun, I have the power to complete. If I am silent, my faithfulness still speaks through everything I have done before. I want you to remember Abraham, who received the promise of a lineage but had to go through many years of waiting before holding Isaac in his arms. The promise came first, and the fulfillment came after a long journey, where age, circumstances, and human reasoning all seemed to stand up in opposition. But Romans 4:20-21 says that he did not waver through unbelief regarding the promise of God, but was strengthened in his faith and gave glory to God, being fully persuaded that God had power to do what he had promised. My beloved child, this is the faith I am building in you, not a faith that only shines when all is well, but a faith that still worships when time stretches on, still hopes when outward evidence is scarce, still calls me faithful when the eyes have not yet seen what my hands are weaving together. In the days when you have not yet received new signs, rebuild the altar of remembrance. Do not let your heart only remember what has not yet happened, while forgetting how many times I have kept you. Remember the doors I opened at the right time, the dangers I shielded you from even when you did not know, the people I brought to lift you up. The nights you thought you would not survive, yet the dawn still came. When Joshua led the Israelites across the Jordan River, I commanded them to take 12 stones from the middle of the river and set them as a memorial, so that in the future, when their descendants asked, They could recount that the waters had been cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. You also need such stones of memory in your heart. Every time I intervene, every word I have fulfilled, every tear I have wiped away is a holy stone, reminding you that I have never abandoned you amidst the deep waters. And my child, spiritual maturity is not when you no longer need signs, but when you know how to place signs in their proper perspective. A sign is a finger pointing the way, not the destination itself. A sign is a bell calling you into my presence, not the presence itself. If you only chase after the miraculous, your heart will easily waver whenever the miraculous does not appear. But if you love me more than any manifestation, you will have peace even when I lead you down a simple path. Psalm 27:14 exhorts you. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord. Waiting is not sitting in helplessness. It is a disciplined standing firm. It is choosing to trust every day, choosing to pray every day, choosing to do what is right every day, even when emotions are no longer burning as they did at first. So today, as you step forward after a moment of transition, walk slowly but surely, humbly but without retreating, watchful but not panicked. If the sky is silent, reopen the words I have spoken. If your heart is weary, return to the altar of gratitude. If the signals become subtle, listen deeper instead of running off to find louder noise. I am teaching you a mature rhythm of life, not being pulled up by emotions only to fall down from a lack of confirmation, but being held steadfast by my faithful nature. The time will come when you look back at this seemingly empty phase and realize it was never empty. That is where your roots grow deeper into grace, where your faith learns to stand without needing a crutch, where your love for me is refined from dependence on wonders. Rest assured, my beloved child, I am still here in the silence. I am still guiding you in the small signals. I am still keeping the promise within the soil until the day it breaks forth, blossoms, and bears fruit in the very season I have ordained. I know you have cried many times without letting anyone hear. I know there are nights you lie still, but within your heart, it feels like huge waves crashing against the rocks. Questions repeating over and over. Do I still see you? Do I still remember you? Does your life still fall within my loving plan? Listen as I speak to you with the tenderness of a father. Not a single tear of yours falls into oblivion. Psalm 56:8 says that I keep track of all your sorrows and collect all your tears in my bottle. This means your pain is not anonymous before me. It is known, preserved, and embraced in mercy. The things you thought were merely faint sighs have reached heaven, and I have never turned my face away from you in the moments you thought you were most alone. You have never been a coincidental appearance amidst the crowded masses. Before you knew how to call me, I already knew your name before you understood who you were. I placed a mark upon you that no one can erase. Isaiah 43:1 declares, I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine. Therefore, do not let past failures, the judgments of the world, or seasons of decline make you think your value has been ruined. You are not defined by the times you stumbled, nor are you measured by the things you have yet to accomplish. I look at you through my eternal love, through the purpose I have placed upon you, through the image that is being restored in you day by day in grace. When you walk the right path, I shepherd you when you stray. I seek you out when you are exhausted. I carry you, for I am the good shepherd, the one who knows his sheep and calls each one by name. There are voices that have slipped into your heart like shadows creeping through a narrow crack in the door. They do not always shout. Sometimes they disguise themselves as reason, as experience, as self-protection. They tell you that you are no longer worthy of being loved, that the door of opportunity has closed, that I am so disappointed in you that I no longer want to call you. But my beloved, that is not my voice. My voice does not break a bruised reed, nor does it snuff out a smoldering wick. Matthew 12:20 reveals my heart in this way, so you may understand that I came not to condemn a trembling soul, but to breathe life back into what seemed to be fading away. The enemy wants to steal your peace with lies, but I bring the truth to break the chains. The enemy wants you to hide from the light out of shame, but I call you to step into the light to be healed. Remember Hagar, the woman who once fled into the wilderness with the pain of being abandoned and a bleak future before her. In that desolate place, when it seemed no one was looking for her, I sent an angel to meet her by a spring of water and call her by name. Afterward, she called me the God who sees me, because she realized that even in the most solitary place, there is still a God who sees. My child, that story is not just for Hagar. It is also a reminder for you. Perhaps you have been misunderstood, left behind, pushed into empty spaces without anyone asking how much you hurt. But I have seen. I see both what you say aloud and what you swallow down. I see the wounds covered by a smile and the hope still flickering beneath the ashes. And if I saw Hagar in the wilderness, I am also seeing you in this season. Therefore, do not let the darkness convince you that silence means being forgotten. Sometimes I am silent so you can hear more clearly what is moving within your own heart. Sometimes I let you walk through the void so you can realize the true foundation of faith does not lie in emotions, but in my faithful nature. Jesus said in John 10:11, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. You do not belong to a hired hand who runs away when the wolf comes. You belong to the one who loves you to the very end. When danger approaches, I do not abandon you. When old memories arise, I do not scold you for still being weak. When temptation whispers, I do not stand afar off waiting for you to fail. I bring my word like a shining sword, so you can discern what is truth and what is a trap set in the darkness. Today I am pulling back the veil from your eyes so you can see more clearly the battle surrounding your soul. Not so you will live in fear, but so you will walk in vigilance. There are thoughts that must be rejected the moment they appear. There are accusations that must be answered with my word. There are doors you must close because they lead you away from the source of life. 2 Corinthians 10:5 teaches you to take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. That means you do not have to let your mind become a refuge for every passing voice. You have the authority in my name to say no to lies, no to an inferiority complex, no to fear disguising itself as wisdom. When I call your name, you are reminded that you belong to the light, and where my light is present, darkness cannot rule. My beloved, let my words today become an anointing oil on the places within you that still hurt. I did not come only to point the way, but also to bind up wounds. I did not come only to correct, but also to embrace. I did not come only to speak of the future, but also to redeem the shattered pieces of the past. If your heart is trembling, lean on me. If you are weary, let me lead you to green pastures and quiet waters, as Psalm 60 promises. If you are doubting yourself, remember that I am never mistaken when I call you, my child. Arise in the gentleness of grace, not in pride, but in the humble conviction that your Father is still shepherding you. I have seen you. I am calling you, and I will lead you out of every deceitful voice to step into the freedom of one who knows they are loved, redeemed, kept, and never forgotten. My beloved child, today I want to bring you into a place that the world often considers empty. But before me is a room full of presence, That is the place of stillness. Many times you have thought that only when there is a loud noise, a clear sign, an instant confirmation, am I taking action. But my child, I am not bound by noise. I do not need to push through chaotic voices to prove that I am near you. I often wait for you to step out of the rushing current, to lay down the anxieties running through your mind, and return to the deep place where your soul can hear the heartbeat of grace once again. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still, and know that I am God." That stillness is not surrender, nor is it weakness. It is returning to the solid rock, where you realize that all the storms outside cannot overthrow my throne within your life. I know you have asked in tears, why is this road so heavy? Why is what I ask for still so far away? Why do I try, yet still encounter bends that make my heart weary? I have heard every single one of those questions. Not as a stranger standing outside your pain, but as a father bending over you in the long night. You see the pressure, but I see the refinement. You see a closed door, but I see another path opening at exactly the right time. You call a season a failure, but I can turn that very place into the foundation of your maturity. Romans 8:28 reminds you that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. All things do not only mean the beautiful days, even the days you tremble, the times you are misunderstood, the stretches of road you thought were useless can be woven by me into a picture far grander than what you are seeing. Do not be quick to measure your worth by the things you have yet to achieve, nor condemn yourself because you have not arrived where you once hoped. Look back with grateful eyes, and you will see that you are no longer the person of yesterday. There were times you thought you would break, but I kept you standing. There were seasons you thought all was lost, but I silently shifted the circumstances in ways you did not expect. There were nights when you had only sighs instead of prayers. Yet the dawn still came, and you are still here. These things are not random luck. They are the footprints of my faithfulness on the journey you walk. Isaiah 46:4 declares, "Even to your old age and gray hairs I am He. I am He who will sustain you. If I have sustained you through the days of the past, would I ever let you go in the middle of the road today?" Remember Hannah, the woman who carried a secret pain in her heart that not everyone understood. She went up to the temple, not flaunting her sorrow, not crying out loudly for worldly pity, but in the bitterness of her soul, she prayed before me. Her lips moved without making a sound, to the point that Eli the priest misunderstood her. But I did not misunderstand her. I heard the prayer that produced no sound. I saw the tears that no one wiped away. I recognized the longing lying deep beneath the layer of silence. And at the right time, I gave her Samuel, a child who was not only the answer to a grieving mother, but also became a prophet for the entire nation. You see, in the place of stillness, what seems to be buried away can be turned by me into a source of blessing for many. There are prayers no one hears, but heaven has recorded there are seasons of waiting no one understands. But I am preparing a spiritual birth far exceeding what you initially asked for. I know there are times your faith is so small that you are afraid to bring it before me. You think you must be stronger, must be more certain, must have no more doubts to be worthy of being used by me. But my child, I did not tell you to bring me a mountain of faith. I told you to bring what you have, even if it is as small as a mustard seed. Jesus said in Matthew 17:20 that if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, "Move from here to there," and it will move. What creates power is not the size of the seed in your hand, but the one who makes that seed live. Do not wait until you feel perfect to draw near to me. Come when you are still trembling, still weak, still not knowing how to pray. I will nurture that fragile piece of faith with my word, with my presence, with the times you experience that. I do not despise a broken heart. Therefore, today I invite you to step out of the land of procrastination. Do not let fear keep you standing forever at the threshold. Do not let doubt wear the cloak of wisdom and convince you that it is better not to step out. Do not let unfulfilled plans make you forget that I can guide you one step at a time. Proverbs 3:5-6 teaches you to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. I do not ask you to see the entire journey before you obey. I only call you to place your next step into the spot my light is illuminating. Every step closer to me is a step away from the burden. Every act of surrender is a loosening of chains. Every decision to trust is a new stone laid upon the path of restoration. Hand over to me the things you are trying to control. Hand over to me the plans that make you lose sleep. The worries you dare not speak to anyone. The dreams you fear will be mocked. And even the wounds you thought you had forgotten, but which are secretly driving your reactions. 1 Peter 5:7 says, "Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you." I do not only care about the noble parts of you, I also reach out to the tangled, clumsy, weak, and unorganized parts. No dark corner in your heart surprises me. No mistake is greater than my mercy. I look at you not only through what you have done wrong, but through what I have purposed to make new within you. My beloved, from your first breath to this very moment, your life has never drifted out of my sight. I have seen the right paths you chose, and the turns you wish you could go back and fix. But I am the one who can redeem time, heal memories, and lead the lost back to the path of life. Jeremiah 29:11 declares that I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Therefore, rest your heart in me. Let the stillness no longer be an empty space that frightens you, but become the sanctuary where you meet your Father. When you look back, you will understand that the difficult seasons were not forgotten paragraphs, but profound lines in the love story I am writing. And when I lead you to the place you once thought you could not reach, you will know that every slow step, every tear, every day of waiting has been preserved by my grace and transformed into a path of light beneath your feet.